Did things go wrong?
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Academy of Music. I'm Steve Sanderson from the Northampton Arts Council, and this is Dylan Gaffney. We're super excited you all came. Thank you very much. We've got a really awesome long show. We've got just about everybody we could get on the bill, and there are some people that aren't here that we wish were here. And also, right off the bat, I want to say, Ken Murray, we wish you were up here today. So, give it up for Ken, everybody. So Dylan came to me and was talking to me a couple years back about the Baystate Archive project, and I immediately wanted everything I could do with it, everything the Arts Council could do, we wanted to help out. It's an awesome project, and this is just one show, and there's absolutely no way to tell the whole Baystate story in one show, so we're gonna have to do more. But what I would like to say is that the bigger picture thing here for us is archiving the stories, the music that happened at the Baystate in Northampton in Western Mass. I'd like to see a Western Mass music archive at the Forbes Library. So this is step one, and I'm going to thank a couple sponsors, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to Dylan, and he's going to tell you a few more things. So thank you to New England Public Radio, the Hampshire Daily Gazette, the Valley Advocate, the Republican, Mass Live, Northampton Open Media for doing the huge shoot today. We've got it covered from all angles. 93.9 The River, WHMP, 94.3 Hits and Pure Oldies. Thank you, City of Northampton, and thank you, Academy of Music. This is Dylan Gaffney.
Hello, fellow old people. I'm Dylan. Thanks. Where were all of you when I couldn't get into an after party in '98? That's what I want to know. I went anyways, I'll be honest. So the Baystate Hotel project the big idea is that we do a series of filmed interviews. We initially set out to do 50 with bartenders, bands, regulars, residents of the venue. And then we accompany that with flyers, photographs, audio recordings, video recordings to try and tell the whole story. The Baystate project at its core consists of me, Callie C., Jill Emmons, David Newland, and Jason Mazzata, who's exiled in California right now. So in order to tell the story properly, though, we need your stories, we need your materials. I know so many people here have already given us incredible stuff, incredible flyers, incredible footage, and we thank you. But if you know somebody else who has materials that could help tell this story, so we tell the story of all the bands, of the wide variety of people, of the people who lived upstairs, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us at Baystate Hotel at forbeslibrary.org. You can stop by the library and see me. You can stop me on the street. You can send me angry Facebook messages telling me everything I'm doing wrong. I welcome it all, weirdly enough. We just love to talk about Western Mass music. So this is a project near and dear to our hearts. So bring it on.
Thank you, Dylan. I also want to thank State Street Fruit Store for refreshments that are downstairs that you can't have any of, but I got to thank them anyway. But speaking of ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Souza. Jerry once hit me upside the head with a flashlight at a free weed show. Thank you, Jerry. One last thing. before I give the mic to Jerry and he tells you all to get out of here, there's an after party at the Sierra Grill afterwards, after the show. At 7 o'clock, we'll have Mike Flood and Spouse, and then there's an open stage. There's many people playing. It's going to be great. Your ticket gets you into that. I think it gets you a small French fry, and also, you don't have to pay the cover. But thank you for coming. We'll see you at the Sierra Grill afterwards. We got a long, long show, so I want to thank the techs up front. Thank you, John and Dan. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Michael, Shred, everybody else at the Academy. And I want to give a shout out to my team, the Arts Council team. Brian Foote, thank you so much, man. A lot of work this month, a lot of work. And Peter McQuillan. All right.
Okay, Steve, you said all. Time to get the show on the road.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Mal Thursday, creator and original programmer of the Baystate Cabaret series at the Baystate Hotel in Northampton, Massachusetts in the 1990s, and CEO of Chunk Records from 1986 to 2000. I'd like to thank the Northampton Arts Council on behalf of myself, Chunk Archives Recordings, and my personal manager and significant other, Anna Bellissima.
Hi, white people.
And on behalf of my group, the Mal Thursday Quintet, I'm very honored that you asked us to perform today, but due to certain...
Actually, Steven.
Okay, apparently Steve Sanderson specifically requested that we not perform today and that I just say a few words, so I guess I'll say a few words. The Baystate Cabaret was started with a grant from the Northampton Arts Council in 1992. And the name Baystate Cabaret was coined by Nelson Bragg, who at the time was the drummer for Mal Thursday and the Cheetahs. And after a couple of shows, he left town and ended up going on the road with Brian Wilson for 30 years, which is such a waste. He could have stayed in the Valley and made history, but so it goes. I have a little appeal that I'd like to make to certain members of the audience today. Any 1%ers or rock and roll oligarchs, if you will. If I'm doing the math correctly, there's 800 people here, so it makes sense that there would be 8 1%ers. So I have a project which you would really be honored to pour your money into. It is the LP reissue of Chunk Records' 1994 compilation LP, Hotel, Massachusetts.
22 bands and not a single person of color.
Well, we weren't the most diverse scene, right? But it's a great record and features so many great bands. It'll be a limited edition on white vinyl.
Oh, how appropriate.
Lily white vinyl, if you will. And if you would like to invest in this project, my Instagram is mal.thursday. Slide into my DMs and give us some money and we'll reissue the record. You know, vinyl's not cheap, but we're going to do it right. Perhaps a whole series, Hotel Massachusetts Volume 1 through 5. So please, dig deep and give till it hurts. I'll close out now by mentioning just a few of the great shows that we had there with touring bands, some of the great touring acts that played the Baystate during my tenure from 92 to 95. My list of bands that I loved that played at the Baystate: Liars, Chesterfield Kings, New Bomb Turks, The Grifters, Polvo,
Arthur Lee in Love.
Arthur Lee in Love, yes, Gaunt, Barry and Holly Tashin at the Graham Parsons tribute, Fane Jade, Jad Fair, Demolition Doll Rods,
Blonde Redhead.
Royal Trux, Rodin, King Kong, Crane, The Dam Builders,
Built to Spill.
Antietam, Unsane, Godhead Silo,
Harvey Sid Fisher.
Harvey Sid Fisher, yes, The Dirty Three, The Flat Duo Jets, Edsel, Atomic Fireball,
Electric Nubian.
The Electric Nubians, yes, and Greenhorn, who later became the Greenhorns, one of my all-time favorite bands ever. Anyway, thank you all for coming today. Enjoy the show. let's go back to the Baystate.
Bye, white people.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host for this afternoon, Steve Westfield.
Hey. Good afternoon. Actually, anybody seen me with pajama slave dancers? I'm more used to a different kind of welcome, which is a lot of vitriol, booing, and hatred. Can we try that again? Yeah, there you go. I'll be the voice of God. Steve Westfield. Now I feel right at home. Actually, I caught a little bit of Mal's thing here, which was kind of like a infomercial for Chunk Records. You notice that? It's like Netflix or something, right? Before the show, there's an ad. But I thought it was interesting. It's sad he's not here because he owes me a lot of money, and I figured if I MC, at least I'll get some of my money back. And let's just do a little poll. So if Mal owes you money, do not raise your hand. Yeah, that's what I figured. So, actually, I owe Mal a favor. He introduced me to my wife, Christine, at the Baystate, and I left with 2 kids and 2 college tuitions at the moment. So he does owe me a lot of money, tell you the truth, thousands and thousands. We tried to get him here, but I think the Arts Council wouldn't pay his Uber from East Hampton, so he had to do the video. I think Mayor Narkowitz is here, is that right? So if we can get that override passed, then we can support artists and pay for those Uber rides from East Hampton, where everybody has to live nowadays, right? All right. Apparently, I'm not singing anything. Whatever. You get to be a certain age, you're like a legend, and you don't have to sing. You just talk and ramble on. Let's keep this thing rolling. Our first performer is from the Connecticut River Valley via. Oh, the Baystate Teasers first? I got it. It's on my list inside of my jacket. What do I say? Baystate Teaser? Baystate Teaser. This sounds like a strip show.
I want to give you a big thank you and a big hug, although I don't think I can do it personally from where I'm right now. Big group hug for everybody. Oh, yeah, that's nice. This last one's dedicated to everyone who can relate to it, and it's called Stoned, Drunk, and Sensitive.
The Baystate had become a pretty hip little bar. In 1992, I got an arts grant from the Northampton Arts Council to do a thing called the Baystate Cabaret. By the end of 92, we were doing 3 and 4 band bills, like a real rock show.
It's not gonna be a hit, so why even bother?
And it was grungy and disgusting in there and lovely and
really gross, like yellow smoke-stained walls. Pretty much what you'd expect.
To get to the ladies' room, you'd have to go through the band, which was interesting.
the door between the music room and the bar squeaked really loud every time someone came in and like in the middle of a quiet song.
That was basically what it was like in the Baystate. Like, can you live with this? Because this is not as good as it's going to get.
The sound wasn't the greatest thing about the Baystate.
We had a terrible PA, and some of our doormen had chemical dependency problems, which,
Chaotic and drunk.
Yep.
The people at the Baystate who my paths might not cross with them, like I still have their music. I still have the 7-inch singles they put out, or the CDs, or the cassettes. And they feel a lot closer to me or in my life than they might be physically or friendship-wise, but I feel like it's still a close-knit group. Yeah. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4!
You never knew what kind of random, weirdos would come in, because it wasn't supposed to be a music venue, and that's what made it such a cool music venue. You know, you felt like you discovered this little secret.
It was super comfortable. It was just dingy and, you know, it had a lot of character to it. It had a lot of characters in it.
I think maybe the age some of us are, it's like you're ready for some nostalgia because you're not out doing it all the time.
Well, there's a lot of nostalgia, but that's okay. I suppose it's better than neuralgia. Yeah. But, yeah, well, nostalgia can be a good thing.
Break up, time to go!
Jerry. And Jerry was great. Jerry was like the guy that you'd see in The Sopranos. Jerry's coming around with the 2x4 just to like, maybe he did use it, I don't know.
With the fact that it wasn't ours, Jerry would put me in my place and hold me accountable for it.
I think he really got sick of me because I think I was trying to be sophisticated or something.
Okay, it's like, all right, Sparkles, get out of here. You know, he would kick people out.
The Baystate Hotel was a beautiful place to be if you were a raging alcoholic.
I feel like it probably hindered a lot of bands, you know, like who maybe could have done a little more, you know.
Drink a bunch more beers, and then, you know, go home at whatever o'clock in the morning. It was fun, not the healthiest.
And people had known me as the guy who was going to jump on you, give you his guitar and make you play it, and you were going to pour a beer on my head, and we were going to have a great time. And all of a sudden, I was at the Baystate playing an acoustic guitar with a tuba and a trombone, and we were all crying about breaking up.
I'm gonna burn the silo when you go.
The loveliest part of the Baystate, from what I remember, was the camaraderie.
For a lot of us, our memories did start at the Baystate.
I made some incredible friends that I'm still friends with and will be forever.
The Baystate kind of shaped everything I am as an adult. It was a magical place.
The Baystate Hotel, thank you so much.
Wake up! What's the matter? What have you seen? Nothing, my dear. Go back.
My memory is foggy, I have to warn you.
I was climbing up the white woods.
I have like some stories that I probably shouldn't tell, but...
Make it out. I can tell you, like, let's stop going.
What's the matter? What have you done? Nothing, my dear. Nothing at all. I thought my race was run. And it's just that I tried and failed to recall.
It's an honor to be here, Frank.
In my blind romantic eye, I made a simple supposition to go away and come back one day and pick it up right where we left off. But I was wrong, and you went along, smiling and waving as the bus pulled out of town. It was my mistake to make you wait. Now I know I won't be lucky if you even ever want me to come back. Oh, don't talk crazy, I couldn't bear saying goodbye. All I did was wish that you wouldn't die. Just come back to me with that same look. Just come home to me, baby, with that same look in your eye. You make it seem like you always knew, had a premonition like I never do. Now I'm flat out in a hospital bed, staring at the ceiling fan spinning slowly over my head. I don't wanna hear you say I'm a hero. 'Cause honest to God, I was just trying to get out of the way. Now they gave me a purple heart, but honey, I don't want it. Maybe we'd both be better off if I just came home in a box. Well, don't talk crazy and please don't make me more afraid than I already am. Not for myself, it's you, I'm fine. I'm fine as long as I know I won't be seeing you soon. Yeah, well, maybe I feel the same way. But after all this time, now I'm just a part of what I was. I wanted to carry my daughter upstairs to bed at night, and they write it, it's a sacrifice. It's all yours, not mine. Now you're there, and I'm still here. You got everything, and baby, all I got to offer is me there. Don't talk crazy about how it's gonna be, 'cause baby, you are never far away from me. Maybe things are different, but nothing's changed. Just come home to me, baby. Please come home.
Thank you so much. Well, this clown means a lot to me. So I'm glad it's behind me. Buddy. Okay, this is...
Do I have to stay here? And why? Does she get to go without? Why do I have to stay here? And why does she get to go? Down came Bill Jocko from the heart of Hooterville. Take down your Christmas wreath, but I know that I never will. A riding lover was his lady. She did not know his Amanda. William took the Datsun to the top for the last time, and that's when they were drunk on the wine coolers that they stole from her mother. Drunk on the summer, and baby, they was drunk on each other. Now you better take a right at the graveyard and a left over at the ghetto. We'll climb up to West Rogan. We're gonna take all of our clothes off. Lucinda had her head down, braiding her hair and thought you could not see that William his eyes closed, heading straight for the trees. And that's when they was drunk on the wine coolers that they had stolen from her mother. Drunk on the summer, and baby, they was drunk on each other. Now, 1 or 2 or 300 feet down to the ground. Let's do it now. Let's do it now, baby, when there ain't no tall rangers hanging around. I cut the wheel on banana peels. We're going straight off of the ridge. Shut out the motor. We're going straight off of the ridge. They hit hard like a broken wand, and Lucinda, she was dead. He climbed back up to the top, and this is what he said. Well, he said, why do I have to stay here? Why does she get to go? Why do I have to stay here? Why does she get to go? Why do I have to stay here? Why does she get to go? Why does she? Why does she? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Mark Mulcahy, Miracle Legion, Polaris, Monkey Drum, Spaceship. He's in 1,000 bands. Yeah, that's a good start.
I mean, I used to walk by the Baystate all the time, and you know, you'd always be like, what is going on? And there just said tap room, you know, like, and these stairs going up, it was just dark inside, and it looked like a throwback, and it was just like, you know, you'd look in, if you looked in the window, there'd be a couple of, like, you know, old, like, you know, knife factory, you know, retirees, like, you know, drinking their pension away. It's just like, it just looked dark and, you know, and dismal. And I remember, I like telling this story, but I hate telling this story because it's like, it's sort of like, it has nothing to do with me. It just happens to be the circumstances that I was in. But when I was a kid, I decided, like, maybe about, like, you know, 12 or 13 years old, I had this thing. I was like, if I ever meet Matt Dillon, I'm going to punch him in the nose because of all the characters he played, like, you know, Moody and My Bodyguard, and, like, you know, the kid, what was his kid's name in Over the Edge, and, you know, the kid in Little Darlings, whatever. It was like he was always just played this like jerk, and I was like, this guy's got to be the biggest jerk. And, like, if I ever bump into him, I'm gonna, like, you know, give him, like, and where it was like 92 or something like that, 92, 93, and we were rehearsing in my basement. A record was kind of finished. And I was playing with Jay, and I can't remember, and Kurt Fedora was playing bass or whatever. We were trying to play some shows. I think we were going to play a tavern show or something. We were putting this thing together, and I come up from my basement, and there's these guys standing in our kitchen, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, is Jay here? And I'm like, yeah, he's downstairs, he's packing up. And this guy comes up and like, hey, I'm Matt. And I'm like, oh, like, well, hi. and fortunately I didn't follow through with my promise to myself, and he turned out to be super cool, super nice guy. He stayed for a week. He was directing some dinosaur video and was staying around and hanging out. But like one of the first nights he was there, he's like, can we go out somewhere where it's like where nobody goes, because it's like, sometimes it's just easier if you go to a place where, people aren't going to want to go out, get some drinks and, not be bothered. And so the first thing was like, oh yeah, we'll go to the tap room, because nobody's ever there. And so we walked in and sat down at the bar, and then I hear, hey, is that Zeke? And I turn around, and it's Eric Gaffney. Has a tendency in my world to like kind of rise up from the mist in weird places, like kind of perfect places in a way. And he's always just there. It's like, it's like if you say his name 3 times, there he is, like, And so Eric's sitting there is the only other person in the bar. And he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? He's like, they're going to be doing shows here soon. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I think Trailer Park's playing here next week or something. I was like, oh, cool. I'm looking around going like, shows in this place? Like, where are they going to, it's like the plates on the wall. And I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. And he's like, yeah, this guy Mal Thursday's doing it. I'm like, oh, Mal Thursday. Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, that guy. Like, I had a beef with him because like he had made fun of me on the radio for not being 21, like my first year in college. And like, like Matt Dillon, I held this beef with him. I was like, if I ever meet Mal Thursday, I'm going to punch me, like, so whatever. I was like, this is never going to work. But that's where I first like, kind of walked into the Baystate and was like, oh, this is like, this is that's happening. And I look back at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a pretty, I was wrong about everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, not only are there musicians from the Valley, but there are writers apparently from the Valley. Security, one of the Unband members is in the house. I'll keep an eye on him. Mike Ruffino reading from his book, Adios, MF.
All right, how's it going? So far, so good, I hope. All right, well, hopefully if I bring a book into the situation, I won't bring it to a crashing halt. So, thank you. I hadn't thought of that. Right, so there's not much to set up here. I think the only bit being I used to live at the Baystate Hotel, physically in the hotel part, which was not like a regular hotel, in the following ways. The hotel was 3 floors of shell-shocked vets of various wars, only some military. Mostly base-functioning alcoholics, ex-patients of the mental hospital up the hill, all men except Gretchen, the den mother at the top of the stairs, who could stop a knife fight with a look, assuming one of the duelists hadn't already peed himself and face-planted. They were all, Gretchen included, casualties of the system, all systems, some you've never heard of, plenty that didn't exist, and all were living off several. Section 8 vouchers, disability checks, duplicitous VA programs. There's plenty of the usual 3-penny chaos, the customary drunken tumbles down the stairs, drinking-related fires, wet-brained feuds, DTs, flashbacks, dissociative episodes, terminal-sounding yet never-ending coughing fits, exploding colostomy bags, indiscriminate urination, antabuse-induced vomiting, bupropion panic, cardiac arrests, antique weapon industries, injuries, cigarette thievery, and certainly no dearth of pantsless ranting in the hall. But between the obsessive behaviors, the soup kitchen serving times, and the myriad bureaucracies of assisted living, there was a core of anesthetized routine, and a good deal of the time, the hotel upstairs was quiet. The heating pipes that ran floor to ceiling through all the rooms in the hotel were cockroach highways, and every part of the building creaked and banged, a veritable symphony of dereliction with every footfall. Nicotine stains overpowered layer after layer of paint up to a muddy water line that broke on the walls about 6 inches down from the crown molding. Ron, that's Sarrazin, did have moments of clarity as a landlord, and the place itself wasn't half as verminous as Shaw's or Northampton Lodging, and the nefarious wino layers across the tracks. My room had been freshly carpeted just before I moved in, and Tommy, an agro vet who lived down the hall, noticed this one day when I left my door open and said, "Oh, pardon me, Your Highness." Except for the floorboards and the simulcast from Saratoga, the tap room, as the bar downstairs was called, was silent as the crypt and seemed caught in a time loop. All day, every day, you had Ron morose on his stool at the corner of the bar, working through his daily case of Bud Light and playing Keno, whatever that involves, apathy and a golf pencil, basically. Larry, chain-consuming Merit Ultras in his Galliano. And the mute, slight chef lurked, pleasantly, but lurked, sucking down Pepsi instead of whatever he used to suck down. He looked like a Bacardi man. And Basic 100 stepping into the kitchen to make something a la king for the Bridge Club twice a month on Tuesdays. The bartender, Becky, came in on nights, and she'd close the place early sometimes when there were no customers and Ron and Larry had called it a day. I should say that this book is in fact about a band called the Unband, which, full disclosure, I'm a member of. We had played a couple of open mic nights around town as the Unknown Band, wearing grocery bags with eye holes on our heads after the Unknown comic. But setting up a proper gig in Northampton was proving to be more difficult than expected. It was a small town and very insular. I was working on Ron to let the Unband play in the dining room and would bring up the idea with him every so often, usually around 1 p.m. when he was 7 or 8 beers into his drill and upcycling from lunch. That dead-end conversation got sucked into the time loop along with everything else until one day Ron hissed at me as usual and then said, "Talk to Mal." Mal was Mal Thursday, who appeared in the tap room one day wearing a turtleneck under a blazer and Wayfarers like a pickpocket in a French film. He had a small record label that put out albums and 7 inches from local acts, and he'd been negotiating with Ron in regard to booking regular gigs in Ron's undined-in dining room. When Ron relented, Mal got what he called the Baystate cabaret going, an occasional event at first, eventually 3 bands per night, Thursday through Saturday. It caught on quickly. And as the action at the Baystate ramped up, the town went into a creative surge. Ron, meanwhile, seemed to be in an ever-expanding personal hell on his bar stool 3 nights a week, snarling into a Bud Light bottle amid a throng of shit-faced post-collegiate art types dumping Jägermeister and Miller Lowlife all over the place, while a rock band, often experimental one that had formed on the spot, experimented at jet volume in his dining room. That the bar was always 3 deep irked him no end, despite the fact that from a fiscal perspective, he couldn't have done better if someone had struck oil in the men's room, which, with all the additional traffic and the pre-war plumbing, sometimes appeared to be the case. All right. Onward.
For a guy who never showed up on time for gigs, he's sure gonna go on and on. Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll fans, Ware River Club, Treefort, Paul Hainsbury, Matt Hebert.
She came over with a box with all her letters in and said, "Do you remember when?" And she came over with a pocket full of think about the Baystate, it's hard for me to not think about Paul Hansberry and Shreveport. One of my favorite Baystate stories is I remember Paul walking into the Baystate with his electric guitar in his hand, and he was holding his guitar case real low because it had like 900 beers in it. Sorry. Maybe we should go. The house is on fire, and I've heard bad things about getting burned. Well, maybe we'll stay. The kettle's boiled over, and our coffee will stay warm. This is your bed, and this is my bed, and I could die feeling like this, with all the distrust outside my window. I might fade if I were to fall out the front door or off of 'cause this is your bed, and this is my bed, and I could die feeling like this. Maybe we should go. The house is on fire, and I've heard bad about getting burned. Maybe we'll stay. The kettle's boiled over, and our coffee will stay warm while we burn away. 'Cause this is your bed, and this is my bed, and I could die feeling like this, with all the distrust outside my window. I think I might fade if I were to fall out the front door, or off of my pillow. I think I might stay when you're alone. 'Cause this is your bed, and this is my bed, and I could die. Thank you guys very much. Miranda Brown on the vocals.
Hi there. My name is Brian Marchese, and I play drums, or used to play drums, or might very well one day play drums in your band. Steve Sanderson asked me to read this thing that I'd written about the late, great Bao Bao. And I'm not going to say no to Steve, because you don't want to see what happens when you say no to Steve. I remember sitting at the bar of Hugo's one summer night watching the Red Sox, one bar stool over from J. Scott Brandon, a.k.a. Bao Bao, bass player for the local rockers, the Drunk Stuntmen. While talking to you, Bao Bao had a way of looking you right in the eye with a Cheshire Cat grin that made you feel like whatever he was saying was just to fuck with you. So I thought he was joking when he asked that night if I wanted to join him and his band of brothers on an upcoming East Coast tour, and maybe beyond. It seems the Stuntmen were having some drummer troubles of an undisclosed nature. But me? Not that I had any tours coming up, but as was and still is often the case, my next few months were littered with gigs and recording dates. Bao Bao had to have known that I'd never be able to just drop everything and tour for 6 weeks. Come on, it'll be fun! I can still hear his voice rising above the Hugo's crowd. Then I realized he was serious. Had he and the other stuntmen even discussed this, or was he going rogue? This was weird. And anyway, my mom had warned me about getting in vans full of hippies. I can't remember what reasons I gave, but I respectfully declined the offer. And while I may well have been able to juggle my commitments to make it work, the simple fact was that I felt I had no part meddling in the unique chemistry that was the classic Stuntmen lineup. Sure, I'd played on Scott Hall's solo album, as well as in the debaucherous cock rock side project known as The Spoils, fronted by Al Johnson, aka Freddie Freedom, and in a couple of one-offs with Terry Flood. Played with Mike Flood, too. Hell, I even played a couple of Steve Sanderson solo shows. But those were flings. Quick, dirty, fun, and satisfying flings. But I wasn't looking to marry into that gruesome gang. And the Drunk Stuntmen were a gang. They were on a mission. They had a vibe. They had a look. They had fire in their bloodshot eyes. They had facial hair and leather fringes and hats, too. They drove trucks with dogs barking out the open windows. They were grown-up wild boys working hard and playing hard. Me? Well, one of my bands at the time, the Aloha Steamtrain, liked prancing about in floral print and eyeliner like the dandies we were. Our touring vehicle was my mom's old station wagon. Connolly Ryan once half-jokingly dubbed us the low self-esteem train. Whereas if anyone in the Drunk Stuntmen had any such personality issues or even spent 5 seconds in self-reflection or self-doubt, they sure did a good job of masking it. I wasn't cut from that same fringed leather cloth. I'd be leaving parties when the stuntmen would just be arriving. At least one of them might be in a bathrobe and unsure of what day or time it was or of his exact whereabouts. No, in those days I was more likely found playing backgammon with a girlfriend and a cat within reach, listening to Serge Gainsbourg or the Turtles. Many of you probably know the Willie Nelson song that goes, "You know the nightlife ain't no good life, but it's my life." And the nightlife was Bao Bao's life. When he was trying to convince me to tour with him and his brothers, I could sense the love that he had for this group of guys, the commitment, the all for one, that it was where he felt at home, where it was cool to just rock and fuck shit up and live his dream. So it's a great cosmic joke that many years after our Hugo's conversation, when Bao Bao and I finally did end up on the same stage, thus completing my collection of Stuntmen musical flings, it was under circumstances neither of us would have ever imagined, in broad daylight, playing Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins in front of a bunch of dancing children and parents. Rest easy, Bao Bao, and I'm sure I'll keep thinking I see you in various crowds. Ladies and gentlemen, the Drunk Stuntmen.
Thank you, Brian. just an honorable mention. To graduate would take a lifetime of those pop quizzes on schemes and rhymes. Now here's 100 words on hopelessness. Now, 'cause we're out as first-class clowns in this high school town, baby, just for now. It will get so down that I almost drown in this sound. You know that we're first-class clowns in this high school town, baby, just for now. You can get so down that you almost drown in this sound. You're a clown, yeah, yes, clown, just this first-class clown, baby, just for now, just for now. We'll get down, almost drown in this sound. You know that you're a first-class, just a first-class town, baby, just for now. You will get so down, we'll almost drown in this sound. That's T-Bone over there. Terry Flood, everybody. It's JJ on the drums. Soft Rock Scott Hall, who I already met. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Hayes. If you go downtown, boys, give them my best. Yeah, you give them my best. And if you go downtown, boys, you give them my best. Yeah, you give them my best. We've all got nothing to prove. We've all got
I never think of a sound like that there's a certain sound associated with the area. I think there might have been articles written like in the past about trying to describe the sound of the area, but I don't know if I ever agreed with any of them because I grew up and I still listen to all different genres. If you want to use the word genre, I mean, it's just all music. I don't know if it was Duke Ellington or somebody. Yeah, there's good music and there's not good music, but who's to say, you know? I don't, if somebody likes somebody and I don't particularly like that person, more power to them. I love the fact that they love them and they get something from it. And it's, you know, but there's such a variety of music around here, so many different musicians that play different things that I don't think you can put it into any kind of a box or anything like a description that would describe the whole thing. I think it's always been that way. I don't think that has changed, and I can't say that if someone comes along and goes, "Oh man, it was so much better back then." No, it wasn't. It was the same. That there was great music then and there's great music now. You look for it. Sometimes it finds you. You look for it. It's right there, you know. If you don't look for it, sometime maybe you might not find it or whatever. But I always believe there's always great music. 'Cause I know there is, and then so you know. But back then, I mean, I could go see someone one night, and the next night I could be at UMass in the ballroom watching Sun Ra with his orchestra play, you know, or the World Saxophone Quartet playing downstairs at the bottom of the. Down in the hall downstairs from there, and I can go to the Blue Wall, see Alex Chilton and the Go-Betweens. I could go see, you know, whatever, you know, it's just different people. Like I said, I go see Morphine play at all different kinds of stuff, you know, Dinosaur Jr. playing in Oasis under Thorns Market, you know, just burying the vocal PA. Michelle would have this little vocal PA, and it was beautiful though, it was just great. And, you know, just, it goes on and on. I can't even say, like, how much, you know, all the shit times I saw NRBQ playing in Northampton and stuff and opening for them. They taught me so much. I mean, it was like going to school or something, like getting an education and you know, hearing one of the best bands in the world next to the Beatles, I would say. And yeah, so that's hard to say how I don't think any sound has evolved other than the fact that there's still all these great musicians and bands, solos and bands, still playing and playing their music, you know.
Here they are. Folks, a lot of people come down to the valley, play their stuff, and then they leave, but they always come back. I think it's got something to do with the marijuana dispensary opening up in town. Who knows? But here they are, the Maggies.
A different sun shining on me now. A different sun will melt my glasses. A different sun shining on me now. A different sun was dropping acid. Why
much bigger crowd than we ever had at the Baystate.
Yes.
This is the dog star that brought me to my car, that carried me back here to wait for instructions while we were waiting. I'll show you some pictures. These are my parents, long since passed away. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. This is my brother. He's in the army. He doesn't know me. He thinks I'm a coward. This is my girlfriend. This is my daughter. Both of them gone now, under the water. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. I got the message straight into my head. Probably they'll kill me. Doesn't matter. I'm looking at you. I'm in the tower. This is my birthday. This is my hour. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. My gun is loaded with the same bullet that you shot me with. I slip back. I get lost in you. I slip back. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I I get lost in you, I slip back. I get lost in you, I slip back. If I run, I run, I run, I run, if 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 I run. I get lost in you, I slip back. I get lost in you, I slip back. I get lost in you, I slip back. I get lost in you, I slip. If I run, 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 if I
All right, so it was a Sunday night in the summer of 2000, and I was living in Northampton, and this guy, Richard Buckner, had played the Iron Horse the night before, and I was a big fan of his, and I'd went and seen him on Saturday night. So I knew he was still in town, and there was an open mic at the Baystate on Sunday nights at that time, like this Americana open mic. And I just had a feeling he was gonna be at the Baystate for some reason, but no one was there because the Figments were playing at Hugo's that night, so everyone was at the Figments show. So I popped into the Baystate, and Buckner was there, and Bruce Tull was bartending, and there was like 3 other people there, and I think Al Johnson was hosting the open mic. So I just like sat down at the bar, like trying to be all casual, and Bruce introduced me to Buckner, and we start chatting, and I was like, oh, is that your show last night? It was really good. He's like, yeah. He's like, that venue's not the best. And I was like, it's not the best. And he was like, I'd really like to just play like a dive bar or something. And I was like, oh, you can play here. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And the open mic was in the front. They closed the back on Sundays, but I was like, oh yeah, like there's bands in the back. And I like showed him where the band's set up, and he was like, cool. So we were chatting for a while, and I was like, so, it's open mic. Like, are you gonna like play some songs? And he's like, I'm only gonna play if you play. And I was like, that's funny, but I've never played in front of anybody, so I'm not gonna do that. So I just changed the subject, and we chat for a little bit longer. And then I was like, no, really, like you should play a song. And he was like, I'm really only gonna play if you play, and I'm only gonna play after you so that I know that you're gonna play. And I was like, fine, there's nobody here. I'll sign us up. So I did. Some more people play, and then the person who was right before me on the list was playing, and suddenly the world showed up. Like the Figments show had gotten out, and everybody came to the Baystate, and I was like, great. So everyone was there, and I was super nervous, but I just, I had to get out of my own way. I was like, I gotta do this. It's for the greater good. And Bruce would set up his pedal steel, and if anyone wanted him to play along, he would just come out from behind the bar and play pedal steel. So I was like, Bruce, I need you to come play Return of the Grievous Angel with me. And he was like, okay. So he came over and we start playing. And it's like going pretty good. And I get through the first verse and then just blank. Just completely can't remember the next word. And I'm just like, Bruce, what's the next line? And he was like, we flew straight over. I was like, right. Okay, got it. So we like played the next thing. And that happened after every single verse and chorus through the whole song. It's a long song. And every single time I would stop and I'd be like, oh, and he'd like prompt me. And like get through it and sit down, and Buckner gets up and I think he did a Townes Van Zandt cover. And I was like, that was so awesome. I'm like, great, whatever. So cut to like a couple months later, I'm talking to Don Rook, the booking agent. And I was like, hey, Don, my birthday is on September 21st. Who's playing the Baystate that night? And he was like, oh, Richard Buckner's actually playing. I was like, get out of town. That's awesome. I can't believe he's playing. And he's like, yeah, and he asked that you open for him. And I was like, Don, it's not funny. He was like, I'm completely serious. Like, his booking agent specifically requested that you open this show for him. And he didn't even know it was my birthday. That was just serendipity. So that was my first show, opening for Richard Buckner at the Baystate on my 24th birthday. Whoa. It was pretty awesome.
All right, round and round. And ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing so far? Enjoying yourselves? Good sound? All right. Much better sound than the Baystate itself. Put your hands together, please, for the Figments.
Hey, folks. So we're going to play a song that I wrote about the Baystate back in the day. And when we were in the process of recording that song, I hijacked an open mic at the Baystate to try to get a room full of people to sing a key line. I do remember when things started to go a little foul because of some technical difficulties. It was the late, great Baba Brandon who started to heckle me. Very friendly and very aggressive. I persevered, and in fact, that room full of people can be heard on the final version of the song, singing the line, "Welcome to the Baystate." That's it. So certainly, if you were involved in the process, please sing along. If you know the song, sing along. And if you just want to give it a shot, sing along. Peyton Pinkerton on the guitar. would like to bring up Lord Russ. All right, we're going to play a song that Russ and I wrote back in 1996.
Yeah, I think so.
When we were living across the street from each other on School Street. He was dressed just like that back then.
That's right. Figments! Woo! I got a little hairier over the years. Or maybe I just forgot to shave or something. I don't know.
Figments. All right, the music keeps rolling. The Aloha Steamtrain. Woohoo!
It's the same old thing. That's why we're holding on to these rings. And if we make it to the end of the path, there ain't no turning back. But I'm inclined to change my mind, to live in love again. Same old sky, hanging down in front of my eyes. Can't see the trees over top of the church. Misty paradise. Take each other's hands. Make each other's plan. Someday I'll walk by and we'll both wonder what the hell went wrong. Someday you will cry. We'll both wonder, could it be that I'm not your kind? Sent out my eyes to roam, they never did come back. Lost halfway out the door with an old attack of some newfound fears. I wish they would go, they've been gone for years. In the corners they hide, bursting with pride. It's getting so late and I think it'd be great if we go. Here we go. Life is a show. I'm in the avenue of sleep. Eyes closed where lonely people creep. There you go again. Just trying to find the easy way out. So I am asking all the world to take you in and tell you hello, 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 hello. I can't believe I don't know you. Oh, it's such a jungle, everything is overgrown. You look so proud, looking down at all you've owned, or you're wrong. And chain in your hand. I'm heading in all directions, and upon last inspection, I've been waiting for you to find me and confide in me. There's many a wonderful thing that gets me high. There's many a wandering thing that gets me by. It's just superstition that blocks out the sun. There's many a wonderful thing that gets me high. my loving. Yes, my loving's just begun. Well, 1, 2, 3, I drink myself awake, awake, woo! And I don't care if they burn me at the stake. At least I had some fun, oh, and I don't regret. 1, 2, 3, I drink a toast to you, and you. 'Cause the way you fuck, girl, you thrill me through and through. You do. At least I had some fun, and I don't regret. 'Cause all my juices rush to meet your smile. And all my juices meet your crooked smile. And all my juices rush to meet your smile. And all my juices meet your crooked smile. Oh yeah.
Aloha Steamtrain. That's entertainment. Yeah, you got your $13 worth. A little video now in memorandum of some of the folks that haven't made it through to this point to be with us.
Said it's alright, well I won't forget all the times I waited patiently for you, and you do just what you choose to do.
I always wanted to play. Unfortunately, I didn't start till like 3 years ago. Like I bought a guitar, I was about I was 23 and I decided to try to learn how to play guitar and write songs. I don't know why I play. I'm really embarrassed about it all the time, you know? Yeah, I mean, I feel really bad and I get embarrassed and I want to do good, but because it's always really bad and then you end up really depressed and sad. You know, come see us at the Loud Music Festival. Maybe we'll do a lot better than we have in the past. Like, we're trying to practice and we're trying to get it together. And I don't know if it'll happen, but give us a chance.
It's not rock. Hobnob with the blob. Dedication to flannel. Lots of really drunk people. Beer. That's why we all do it. The free beer.
Hi. Vinyl is final.
Food fights with friends.
Where would you say, rather, is the local scene in the Pioneer Valley? Basically,
Skating rinks, bowling alleys.
In the valley. The Pioneer Valley.
where do you see that going? To Kentucky.
Did we mention ABBA? Edinburgh. Sleep deprivation.
Relaxation.
Let's rock.
What is Jen Gallahorn's band's name? Tizzy. I was going to call it Twitch, but no, Tizzy, right. I like them. I saw them live and thought they're very good.
And of course, Tizzy is awesome because it's my band.
restaurant. 12-year-old candy bar girls, shaving heads and breaking beds, refusing drinks and makeup links. Little did we know it was spelled out with the stars that night, and the stars we followed in the sunlight, trailing trails and dressing like sailors, though we get some undistinguished guess. Little did we know. You're my fortune cookie as I hear the cracker shell, and the sweet swallow follows in sight. You sing the paper message they are dying to tell. You sing the paper message they are dying to tell. Now I fast forward past the yearning years, for fast living and learning, shopping, growing pains, family, friends, and safety nets, losing rides, shovel nights, silent fights, daydreams forced to the back of the brain, sinking into an inseparable summer. We stashed away awesome days. Non-fiction grabbed a hold of fiction, like animals sensing a storm, and instead of playing, we played.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us. Boy, Steve Sanderson, Dylan Gaffney, you guys deserve a huge round of applause for putting all of this together with your amazing crew. And these are songs that we wrote when we were teenagers, and I think we all turned 21 about the time that the Baystate started having shows.
No need to go into age.
Who's counting?
Terry, we love you.
This is a Tizzy song.
And the
Flower Thieves. Their cassette is available, I believe, backstage. Both of them?
I think that once I was actively showing up for gigs there, I was making friends with all of those other bands you've seen all over all the flyers from the time, you know, and people who I'm friends with to this day and who ended up collaborating a ton. I mean, Tizzy, Papa Wheelie, Claudia Malibu, Storm King, obviously, Zeke, you know, a lot of those folks were, it was almost like a heavy rotation for a few years there where we were in and out and we were supporting each other and different people were headlining and opening. And I think it felt, one of the things I reflect on is that it felt so supportive and collaborative instead of ever feeling competitive. I mean, it's not like anyone was getting big record deals or anything. We were all really excited to just come and play for each other. And sometimes that's all there was, but it was okay because, you know, we got to go show our stuff and someone was kind enough to listen to it. Any night of the week you could pop in and run into a buddy. Like, I think it was one of the only places that I always felt comfortable showing up by myself. I mean, it was like, you know, Peyton would be touring across the world and I would just take myself out to a show or for a drink or to hang out or listen to something new or whatever. So even when I wasn't playing, I was totally loitering at the Baystate all the time. You know, I'd go see a movie at Pleasant Street and then on the way home, I'd stop by and have a drink and talk to Ron. So it was all good. It was totally like a second home, weirdly intimate. It wasn't deep conversations, okay? But I mean, it was just a place where like a young woman could show up and have a cocktail and talk to old men at a bar and not feel threatened about it. I mean, I just don't know where else that happens. It feels kind of uniquely safe to me. I mean, it was just a very friendly vibe. I mean, it's interesting to call Jerry friendly because he was always a cantankerous character, but he was friendly, you know? He'd gripe at you, but like in a friendly way, and then pour you a drink, and then judge you for it. It was fine, it was good. Because it feels like 100 years ago and also yesterday, like alternately, there's definitely both vibes about it. I think in retrospect, the weirdest thing about thinking about the Baystate is just realizing how much I miss it. I loved having a place where I could always see friends, always hear good music, always be welcome. Where do you get that?
Here we go, a band all the way from California. They're playing the city's biggest venue today and tomorrow. They play the valley's smallest venue, the 413 Club in East Hampton. See if you can find it tomorrow. See the same band? And they're playing the after party too. You haven't heard them in a long time. You'll be tired of them after this weekend. Spouse.
Every corner of the room is at a dead tie with the clock. When we finally got our courage up, we were both too drunk to fuck. Katrina's a good customer, she goes over cans and cans. Said you better get you wallet out before you even think about me getting in your pants. Every angle in the mirror is a reflection of the clock. When we finally got our courage up, we were both too fucked to talk. I hope you're making it alright. Hope you're taking it so hard. Hope you're thinking on your feet. I hope you feel it all the
Thank you very much. I would like to thank everyone involved in this project. I think it's brilliant, and I think it's the best reunion I've ever been to. I'm still in shock, and it's an elated kind of shock. I get, what is that, a joy? This is a joy.
Amen.
Hey, all right. It's great to see you, except the lights are over here and I can't quite see you, but I can hear you. I miss you, and we all miss you. Although you get to see some of these wonderful guys. This is Mark Seedorf over here on the bass. Right behind me on the drums, you know this fine gentleman. This is J.J. O'Connell. To my right, one of my guitar heroes, one of my earliest guitar heroes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Peyton Pinkerton.
Dissident is screaming to the telephone that rings inside your head above your right temporal lobe. When no one's home, you tried to fix the things you left behind and broken with the mess until you realize they're gone. Until you realize they're gone. Crush your plastic cans and don't forget to roll the cardboard that she left inside the bag beside the curb with everything you ever wanted but you couldn't really own. And don't try to beat a stick when you can pull the trigger on an automatic. Leave your message at the tone and then fire the believer on the other end of your receiver. Let it ring as if there's no one home. As if there's nobody at home. They're charging us monogamous. I think there's something wrong with us. Help me get my feet up off the ground. Polygamous, mysterious, there's something really serious. So help me get my foot out of my mouth. I can't keep my foot out of my mouth. Thank you. This is our ode to the Baystate. Long live the Baystate. Say it isn't true. Say it can't be so. Tell the people no. Tell them where to go. And if I leave out of this place, my heart stays behind at the Baystate. Even if I leave out of this place, my heart stays behind at the Baystate. Thank you.
You know, some national acts came through there that were of staggering talent that you could recognize from like 100 miles away. You know, whether it was like the Bottle Rockets to see them in that room, this little room, or Sebadoh, who you couldn't breathe in there. There were so many people in that room for Sebadoh. You know, even acts you'd see now, you look back through the old things, you see somebody like Scott Ligon, who plays in NRBQ, playing there, or Mark Mulcahy, who had been in Miracle Legion, opened up for my band there. You know, and I'm looking at him playing, I'm like, Jesus, why is this guy opening for me? This is nuts. Those things are very memorable, but from the very first era, what I remember most is a band that probably won't get their due from anybody else that talks to you is Hula Popper. It was led by a guy named Tom Shea, who later was in the Scud Mountain Boys. The bass player was Matt Hebert, who later became one of the most successful Baystate acts in the next era with his band, the Weir River Club, but he was a bass player in Hula Popper. And Garrett Fonts, who's an amazing drummer, and he later became the drummer in New Radiant Storm King. And Tom Shea, the whole band, you can't move in the place, it's so crowded. People are standing on every table and every chair just to try to get a look at them. They've all got their shirts off by the third song, and Tom decides, you know, one of the most talented guitar players I've ever seen, decides he's not even gonna play any songs that were on their set list anymore. And he just points out at the crowd and goes, "What song you wanna hear?" And somebody would be like, "Great White Buffalo." Okay, somebody was me, because I'd heard him play the riff from Great White Buffalo by Ted Nugent. And he's like, points out at me with this like sage eye, and the crowd goes crazy. And so there's nothing but AC/DC and Nugent covers for the rest of the night, and with no preparation and just complete abandon, and that was spectacular. I also remember seeing the Scud Mountain Boys at a pretty early show when they'd kind of gone supernova and had just signed a Sub Pop, but were still playing the Baystate. And I opened up for them, and then they played, and the place was packed, but everybody was sitting like, what didn't have a chair was sitting cross-legged in Indian style. And people had come from kind of all over the Northeast to see them because they'd become something of a phenomenon by then. And it was quiet, you could hear a pin drop. And I was telling somebody about what the song that Joe was singing was written about, because I'd known. And a woman walked up and said, "The sound of your voice is so wonderful and so infectious. Your laughter is just wonderful. But we've traveled all the way from Southern Connecticut to be here. And we were hoping that you could just keep it down until the show was over. Because we would just really want to enjoy the show just as much as you're enjoying your time here." So, yeah. And so I said, "Ma'am, no problem. But just so you know, this is a fucking bar. And we're going to be here tomorrow after you're gone, and next week. And we don't care that you drove all the way from Southern Connecticut, and the Scud Mountain Boys are our band. So thanks. Enjoy the show."
All right, Frank. King Radio. Frank's got the biggest band in town with 27 people in it. I think everybody's been in King Radio at one time or another. Now we got another band for you. The big key that's tying all this stuff together, no matter what the genre, is songwriters. Everybody here is writing their own songs, which is what made the Baystate fantastic, which is what really helped Northampton become the arty town that it is, tell you the truth. All the way back from Rarhars, yes. Sheehans, yes. The Baystate, yes. And now we got Luthier's and Hawks and Reed and Gateway City Arts. There's a lot of clubs up and down the valley. But right now, it's a couple of great, like national treasure songwriters on the stage. They're getting a little bit old. They got their own band, and they also played with Young at Heart Chorus. I mean, at this point, they're actually older than the people in Young at Heart Chorus. But please, my heroes, the Lonesome Brothers.
Hey, how about a hand for Steve?
Steve Westfield, yes sir.
He's not just handsome, he's funny. Sometimes. We drove all over the place. We still drive all over the place, but we used to drive north, south, all over the place. And the Baystate Hotel was a great home base. It's right in town, 15 minutes from home, and it seemed like it was always full. It seemed like it was always full of people that wanted to be there, so it was really a great time. I won't tell you about the Formica on the men's room wall, which I wanted to, but there just isn't time for every little detail, is there?
Thank you. Keith Lovero on the drums back there. Keith Lovero. Yeah. Scott Hall on the keyboards. Thanks for coming out here today. Gonna bring it all on yourself. Yeah, you, there's no one else. Why you wanna set yourself on fire? You're all pumped up just like a tire. And you'll find there's no way to understand, but she can't take you where she's leaving. Your heart's falling down, you're all breaking up, so she won't take you back when you're all jacked up. Don't close the store too soon. Here you're living in a mighty big room. Clear the aisles, stock the shelves. Yeah, you, there's no one else. And you'll find there's no way to understand, but she can't take you where she's leaving. Your heart's falling down and you're all breaking up, so she won't take you back when you're all jacked up. When you're all jacked up. Put 1/4 in, check the gauge, don't overinflate. Now put another quarter in, check the gauge, don't overinflate. Gonna bring it all on yourself. Yeah, you, there's no one else. Why you wanna set yourself on fire? You're all pumped up just like a tire. And you'll find there's no way to understand, but she can't take you where she's leaving. Your heart's falling down and you're all breaking up, so she won't take you back. And you'll find there's no way to understand, but she can't take you where she's leaving. Your heart's falling down, you're all breaking up, so she won't take you back when you're all jacked up. When you're all jacked up. When you're all jacked up.
Ray Mason song. Thank you very much.
Awesome, brothers. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
There's a song about Henry. You know Undertaker, kid? I just can't win it all, sink it with my brains above the floor. Hey! Hey, Mr. Undertaker, do me a big favor. Make me look real good because I'm going for a ride. Hey, Mr. Informer, do move with my revolver. You put my head together because I'm going for a ride. I'm going for a ride. I'm going to the show. So everyone I know, so everyone will go. He looks real good, man. He never looked better. It's just a shame that that fool could not for you. My skull is shattered, but that really doesn't matter. I know that you can fix Mr. Undertaker, figure strike of me. Do me a favor, Mr. Undertaker. Make me reckon because I'm going for it. Make me look good because I'm going for it. Hey, Mr. Undertaker.
Yeah, Angry Johnny. Played there just, not as quite as much as Ray, but just underneath that. Okay, we got another band coming for you. This guy, somehow he managed to fool the Valley for 30 years that he was Irish, just because he had an accent. But we all know that he's English. I hate to give it away, John.
Bastard!
Yeah, the first band to play the Baystate, and what a fun bunch of guys, the Big Bad Bollocks!
When the big Yanks drank in the pubs of Liverpool, the pubs of Liverpool, the pubs of Liverpool. When the big Yanks drank in the pubs of Liverpool, they were hardly ever sober. Drinking all the day, drinking all the night, drinking beer and whiskey by the pint. Drinking all the day, drinking all the night, drinking beer and whiskey by the pint. Started kissing all the Yanks, kissing all the Yanks, kissing all the Yanks. When the Liverpool girls started kissing all the Yanks, the Scouse boys started singing. You're going home in a Liverpool ambulance, Liverpool ambulance, Liverpool ambulance. You're going home in a Liverpool ambulance. Hey da, hey da, hey. Broke out between the Yank and the Skin, and looked for a minute like the Yank might win. Up to the Yanks and all the Scouts at the bar, rolling on the floor and falling through the door, punching and kicking and smashing the place. Till the sergeant with the mouth got a pint put in the face, punching and kicking and smashing the place. Till the sergeant with the mouth got a pint put in the face. Drank in the pubs of Liverpool, the pubs of Liverpool, the pubs of Liverpool. When the big Yanks drank in the pubs of Liverpool, they were hardly ever sober. Drinking all the day, drinking all the night, drinking beer and whiskey by the pint. Drinking all the day, drinking all the night, drinking beer and whiskey by the pint. Drinking beer and whiskey by the pint. Drinking beer and whiskey by the pint. Everything go brah, Steve. A long time ago, at the Baystate, we started playing there in 1990. And the first time we were there, anyone remember Blind Ed Sharler? Blind Ed Sharler? He booked us in there for a fake Irish wake. They had a female mannequin doll in a coffin with a mustache stuck on it. And we played it as they carried it through into the dining room where they supposedly buried it. That was our first gig there. And this guy, where is he? Where is he? Johnny? There he is.
We got a special guest.
We might not be Irish, but we got a lot of this in our veins. This is a song, unusually for us, about drinking.
John, which John is that on?
Oh,
Oh, he is awake after all. He is awake. That's too bad. When I were a young man, my spirit were free. I stayed out all night, past the hour of 3. Sometimes I'd wander for miles and miles, then find myself waking up on those cold tiles. Night on the tiles, night on the tiles. Oh God, I just spent another night on the tiles. Night on the tiles, night on the tiles. Don't think I can take one more night on the tiles. Some people, when they have wetted their heads, go home to lay down upon soft feather beds, when on a hard floor littered with bottles and vines, lying in the middle is me on the tiles. Night on the tiles, night on the tiles. Oh God, I just spent another night on the tiles. Night on the tiles, night on the tiles. Don't think I can take one more night on the tiles. After all me lost weekends, me life's in the gutter. I stand in these docks with a twitch and a stutter, trying to avoid conviction and trial, but find myself sentenced to a life on the tiles. Life on the tiles, life on the tiles. Oh God, I just spent my whole life on the tiles. Life on the tiles, life on the tiles. Don't think I can take one more night on the tiles. Life on the tiles, life on the tiles. Oh God, I just spent my whole life on the tiles. Life on the tiles, life on the tiles. Don't think I can take one more night on the tiles.
Yeah, it's great to be back in the Academy. Last time I was here at the Big Bad Bollocks, John got his head cut off by a guillotine. I'm not kidding you. We were here with the Young at Heart Chorus doing the French Revolution to the songs of Frank Sinatra. We were the rabble in the pit. And somehow, when we started playing, they decided to cut off the head of our leader, John Allen, who then later had a show all about underpants in here. So we have a lot of history here.
Last time I was on the stage, we had no pants on. That's right. Yeah. But we're not going to do that today. Don't worry, don't worry.
Turn the mandolin down in the mark.
Yeah, please.
Another Friday night in Tiptown, the pubs are kicking out. People rolling round with skin to the streets, they sing and shout. Another Friday night in Tiptown, the chimney's open late. Catching misheads walking home like flies on sticky bait.
Lying in the sitting room of a Friday late at night, where the girl I'd met at school, she was well brought up and quiet. The brother burst in through the front door and turns on the big lights. Hey up my kid, what you doing here? And who's the bitter tight? Another Friday night in Tiptown, the pubs are kicking out. People roaming around with stick to the streets, they sing and shout. Another Friday night in Tiptown, the chimney's open late. The catcher pisses walking home like flies on sticky paint. Trying to tell her, but she's getting worried about my brother's big lump of Arts, Saturday, March the 14th, St. Patrick's. See you there.
The Bollocks, the Big Bad Bollocks.
A band that Jay and I had, which was just a project. I hesitate to call it a band, and I always used to say this is music that is more fun to make than it is to listen to, but we didn't care, and I can't believe that. Like, we didn't care. We didn't worry about sucking, you know? It was like, can't be afraid to suck. You just go and do it and do whatever, and sometimes it was beautiful, sometimes it was, you know, just a lot of noise, but was Wank Factor 7 and Rising, which was Jay and myself, and Charlie was in on that for one of the first gigs. I think the very first time we played was actually at the Iron Horse, not at the Baystate, but then we played a few other shows, and we played Kevin Shields from My Bloody Valentine was in town visiting with Jay, and I think they were recording like maybe a Dino record or doing some Dino stuff, and he was helping, you know, with some creating sounds and textures, because that's his thing, you know. He's like, I don't think of myself as a guitar player, but I can interact with sound and noise, and he is amazing. But he was in town, and we had set up a show for Wank Factor 7 and Rising to play at the Baystate, and at that point, My Bloody Valentine hadn't played a show in years, so it was like a big deal, you know. Kevin was in town, so he was like, yeah, you should just come and sit in. We don't know what we're doing, so you just come in and not know what you're doing, too.
Folks, you know, you're into the rock and roll lifestyle, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but this band up next is really sex, drugs, and roll. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's all about health food.
Now it's health food. Gobblehoof.
I suppose there's people out there. It's probably better that I can't see you.
our friend Tim wasn't able to make it up for most of the rehearsals. He's been with his mother. She's in a hospice at this time. I guess she's leaving us in this world, this mortal coil, this thing we call life. And although they say that there's something beyond there, maybe there is, but all we have is what we have right now, and when we're together, and I think our friend feels sad about that, and he would like to dedicate the last number.
To my mom. This is for my mom. Thanks a lot.
Touch my life.
much.
Thanks a lot.
This was an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. We're going a little off schedule here. Not my fault. It's all Mike Flood's fault, actually. He gave Lou the wrong date for the show. So, I need that special banjo mic. I hope you still got your earplugs. Should I tell you now, Lou? I've never actually played this before. All right. Considering the theme of excellent songwriters, I will introduce from all the way from Greenfield, Massachusetts, Lou Barlow from Sebadoh, Dinosaur, Folk Implosion, Taboo Shed, Sky Towel.
Could I hold on? Should I hold on to you? Ask, I'll tell the truth. There's nothing I should hide. And if I move too slow and you're bored, I need to know. I'm weak to hide inside, to force what I don't feel. All I have is a question. There's no hope to find a future, but something in me cries for you. It feels too real this time. I think I love you, but I don't know what that means. The girl of my dreams, or a friend that one day leave. Could we trust this? When I've lied to myself before, and I'd do it all again to taste what I've imagined we could be.
3, 4. Please don't clap. Thank you. You'll throw us off.
Look what we've become, this pressure that we feel, and in a world of possibilities, this may not prove real. And could we give enough, backed against a wall, too close to breathe, but too far to fall. And all I've ever wanted was to feel you closer to me. And it's sad to feel this resistance. What once before felt so free, let tomorrow be. I can't be so impatient, pushing every answer when there isn't any question that we feel good now. And though this may have to end, I hope I'm always with you. Honestly, your friend, I think I love you.
Thank you so much, Lou Barlow. And now, Mike's going to tell a story. It's story time.
My God, that was beautiful. This is the greatest play date I've ever been on in my life. I've been told to get in the light. I was born in the light. I don't need to be in the light. But this is the greatest play date I've ever been in my life. Lou, where'd you go? So here's what I have to say. I was gonna sit there. That looks good. I think I'll do a Lou. I think I love you. What I think happened was there were no Reaganomics trickle down. There was just Lou and Jay trickle down. And those were the only ones that didn't lie. They came out with real Captain Kirk, full down rock and roll, indie rock. And it was real. And hey, can you guys be quiet back there? Can you shut up? All right. And they're the ones that's what was spawned. And it's Jay and Lou's fault. No. But honestly, everybody quiet down for a second. Indie rock was happening, and guys from Northampton were making it happen. And there was the Seattle thing going down. Of course, you know, you can clap when Seattle happens. Yeah. And then, you know, Sebadoh gets on Sub Pop, you know? That's pretty cool. And then after that, you had Dinosaur Jr., you had Sebadoh, and now every single musician in Northampton thought they were gonna get signed tomorrow. Oh, hell yeah, if Lou and Sebadoh did that, that's it, we're up. Everybody's gonna sign us. And it was the best thing that ever happened to a lot of the folks here, you know. Hey, Will. And there you guys are. And Sheehan's Cafe. I'll make it fast. Sheehan's, right? What was the downstairs under Sheehan's? Anybody know? Dewey's Pub. All right? Day music. Okay? You go to college, you go to a few classes, you take the bus back, the PVTA back to Northampton. There's day music at Sheehan's. So we're all down there at Sheehan's, and all the bands are working it out. Even Fish, the little weirdos with their like vacuum cleaners and strange dresses. You know, forget about Lord Russ tonight. These guys had they're like doing vacuum cleaner solos and stuff like that. And then they're like, I don't understand indie rock. Yeah, you better start to understand it. And I looked out the window. I lived above Downtown Sounds, and we realized that Sheehan's was going to close, and there was nowhere to go. And the next step is going to be the Baystate. Nobody knew that we were going to have so much fun at the Baystate. We didn't know that Jerry, where are you? All right, Jerry, come on up. Start walking, you old man. Get up here, Jerry. We didn't know that Jerry was sitting there waiting for us. And I happened to be the first musician to ever step on stage at the Baystate. And for some reason, Mal Thursday did a lot of things right. And he booked the Royal Trux, which is the craziest noise band. I mean, the coolest shit going on, right? Say
Right.
Pussy Galore.
Huh?
Pussy Galore.
Who?
All right, forget it. So the Royal Trux are going to play, and we're going to open up for them. And we were Buddy Joe Hooker. We used to name our bands after Stuntmen. And not to talk about the drunk Stuntmen, but so Jason Lowenstein, Eric Gaffney, Jeff Halprin, and Joe Barrett's on drums. And I think Mike Flood was there. Yeah, I think he was there. Yeah, Mike Flood was there. And we opened up for the Royal Trux, and that was the very first band that ever stepped on stage. And from then on, Jerry said, "Is it gonna get better?"
And it did. They were very good.
All right, and it did. And we were too much for them, but it got great. And this is our dad, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry.
Say whatever you want. It was a pleasure to be here tonight, and thank you for inviting me. And the bands were great for all the years I worked with them. And I thank them all.
I think we're done. I'm walking with my new dad.
What's up, everybody? So this next and final band, well, I hope you've all had an amazing time today. Thank you so much for coming. It's been way beyond our wildest dreams. It's been quite a day. Right, Dylan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dylan says yeah. So, all right, there's a documentary being made. It'll come out next year, year after. We hope to premiere it right here where we are right now in maybe 2 Februaries, if not sooner. The next and final band is the only band that I've ever had all 3 members in a headlock at the same time. They brought me to Europe for my very first time. I lived in a van with them for way too long. I discovered new smells. I had an amazing time. I was a hand tech, a blow-up hand tech. I'll let you look that one up. Before certain events in Rhode Island, I used to light the Roman candles on the end of their guitars. How you guys doing? Close yet? Keep going. Yeah, 2 minutes. I'm not back there helping them set up because I've retired from being the road manager of the Unband. Luckily, I did it before it killed me. But anyway, Dylan's going to say a couple more words about the archive project.
Yeah, I just want to thank Northampton Open Media, who, without them, we really couldn't do anything that we do. They provide the equipment, the expertise, the guidance, the moral support to shoot all of our interviews and to digitize all of our video. In addition, I'd like to thank the Northampton Arts Council, without whom we couldn't do anything like this, and Forbes Library, who's been behind the archive from day one and let me do crazy shit like this, which is not your typical librarian work.
Yeah, right on. Give it up for Dylan Gaffney. And again, give it up for, it's a long day for all the techs and everybody here. Give it up for everybody that worked this show. Thank you, Dan, John, Mike. Give it up for all the performers all day long. They played for free. They played because they wanted to. I am just in awe of everybody's generous spirit. Thank you so much. This has been an awesome one. Thank you for being here. And I don't care if they're ready or not, but ladies and gentlemen, the motherfucking Unband.
Is it allowed for people to come up closer? You can. I think you can. I say you can. And I got the microphone. So, anybody want to come up closer? Let's do that. And then let's play a little rock and roll.
Thank you. Hey, Dan, can we get that kid back in the boxes? Oh, it's nearly the 26th anniversary of us getting kicked out and banned from the Baystate. Thank you very much. It's nice to be invited back. We'd like to thank the Academy of Music.
Usual shit, as far as I can tell. Thank you.
Explain it again.
It's good talk. It's good talk.
See, what happened is,
we all knew what we were in for.
that is a lovely color too, by the way. So, how y'all doing?
Shoes.
y'all doing? Yeah? I can't see. Like, did everybody leave? I can't. Oh, no, there you are. Okay. One moment. Here we go. I feel a lot of trouble up here. I know it's my fault. No, I don't think so. Trouble, right? I'm hearing a lot of trouble, right? Trouble. A lot of trouble. I'm not hearing as much mid as I would prefer. It's not your fault, Dan. It's my fault. This is on me. Yeah, and I'm also hearing not that much bass either. I don't really know what the fuck is going on. Could use even a little bit more drums in the freaking shit, fucking dick.
The speakers that come in front of the people, whatever they're called.
Whatever the fucking nuts, tits called. Yeah.
I promise this is going to be just fine. Don't worry about it.
Michael Rufino, ladies and gentlemen, Prince Harming himself. All the way from Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
So while I'm at it, Eugene Ferrari on the drums, superstar, heavy hitter. Over here we have Mr. Mick Rockmore on lead guitar. So now you know those people. My name is Matty P. You knew that. You're just being difficult.
His last name is Pierce.
Yeah, Matty Pierce.
Yeah.
Google me.
It's better now.
It won't work. There's a lot of those guys. All right, are we good? Give me that E. Good enough. time is it? I have no fucking idea. Aloha? One more? All right. All right, you bloodsuckers. We'll do one more. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. All right.
Okay, folks, tonight's over. Drink up, the party's over. Party at Ernie's house.
Why'd you yell at Lonesome? Oh my God, awesome. I knew it was that was fucking incredible. Dude. I can't believe I went from your knees to the floor, and then the first thing to the kiss off, I'm like,
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Yeah, got a little damage there.
Mainly like.
All right, JJ, let's go. I know, yeah.
It's fine.